Today, we're digging into how Benjamin Franklin, way back in 1739, used the preface to his Poor Richard's Almanack to basically invent the modern financial persona. It is an absolute masterclass in content marketing from the 18th century.
Here's the bottom line. This right here isn't just a quaint old saying. This is Franklin's core formula for building not just a fortune, but a legacy that lasts. This is the key that unlocks his entire strategy. So let's pull back the curtain on how this simple-sounding idea was actually delivered through one of the most sophisticated marketing campaigns in history, all cleverly hidden inside a humble almanac. All right, first up, let's look at the mask Franklin presented to the public. We're talking about the funny, almost bizarre preface written by his alter ego, Richard Saunders, for the year 1739. If you just read the surface of this thing, it seems like pure comedy. It's packed with these weird astrological predictions that seem like they're just there to get a laugh. Franklin, playing the part of Saunders, is essentially acting like a court jester. So, for example, Saunders predicts this total linguistic meltdown across the colonies. Here he is, joking that people in Pennsylvania are going to start saying painter instead of panther. It's absurd, it's satirical, and it completely lowers your guard. And he doesn't stop there. The predictions keep going, poking fun at different regional dialects with this really folksy, relatable humor. He's positioning himself as this keen observer of everyday people, making fun of the very way his customers actually talked. You have to understand, this whole funny guy persona was an incredibly deliberate and careful construction. Franklin wasn't just cracking jokes for the fun of it. He was building a character that people would trust and welcome into their homes year after year. Which brings us to the big question, right? Why? Why would a deadly serious entrepreneur, a guy obsessed with efficiency and making money like Benjamin Franklin, waste his time publishing all this goofy stuff? What was the financial return on all this comedy? Okay, let's get into the business reality of it all, because this is where it all starts to click. Franklin was operating in a super competitive market. He had to find a way to make his almanac stand out from the crowd. So if you look at his main rivals, they were either really academic and stuffy, like Titan Leeds, or they were super preachy and moralistic, like William Burkitt. Franklin spotted this huge gap in the market for someone who was accessible, witty, and actually entertaining. So creating Poor Richard Saunders wasn't just a fun literary trick, it was a core business strategy. He was differentiating his product by wrapping his pretty radical financial ideas in a package that was just totally irresistible. And the numbers? Well, they speak for themselves. His almanac was selling nearly 10,000 copies every year. For that time period, that is blockbuster-level market penetration. No other almanac in the colonies could even dream of touching those numbers. Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because hidden just under that funny, folksy surface was a deadly serious financial doctrine. The jester, it turns out, was a Trojan horse for a new kind of capitalist philosopher. And this right here, this shows you the whole game. On the left, you've got the mask, the silly joke about men from Connecticut, but in the very same pages, you get the punch to the gut on the right, a stark warning that going into debt is basically a form of slavery. The humor was just the sugar to make the harsh medicine go down. And when you start piecing it all together, quote by quote, a really coherent philosophy starts to take shape. Franklin was systematically teaching his readers that hard work is your duty as a citizen, that being thrifty is a moral good, and that accumulating wealth is what allows you to contribute to society. Just look at this quote. He's directly connecting your work ethic to divine approval. He's framing your job, your financial activity, not just as a way to make a living, but as a moral vocation. This isn't just advice anymore. It's a full-blown ideology. So finally, let's boil this whole thing down. What Franklin created was more than an almanac. It was a blueprint for converting your financial success into something much, much bigger, a lasting legacy. And that brings us all the way back to our opening quote, but I want you to look at it differently now. Don't see it as just a nice proverb. See it for what it is, an algorithm, a two-step process for creating an immortal brand. And these two steps are completely inseparable. You have to do both. Step 1, do things worth writing, is all about building the substance, the tangible capital, the real-world value, your actual track record. But that's not enough. Step 2, write things worth reading, is about building the story around that substance. That is your personal brand. It's the narrative that makes sure the substance is never forgotten. And that leaves us with a pretty provocative question, especially for today. Franklin's strategy from the 1700s seems to suggest that wealth without a story, without a brand, is fragile. You might have the money, but if there's no narrative, you risk being completely forgotten. If you found this research valuable, please like the video, subscribe to MoniLytics, and check out the affiliate links in the description to support the channel.
And stay tuned for our next deep dive, where we'll be shifting our focus to Franklin's obsession with trifling expenses.